was with this film crew, the NGO that I was working with were there, and they were trying to interview a woman, and this outside filmmaker could not get this woman to open up. And then the community filmmaker, she sat down in the chair, she started talking to the woman, and it made me realize, the question I started asking myself was like, how much do we miss out? How much do we not understand about the world and the way that it really is when we don't allow people to tell their own stories? The media is the lens through which we see the world, and I think it's been deeply, deeply distorted for the last 50 years, if not longer. You know, over the last 10 years that Video Volunteers has been going, there are some positive things happening, which is, of course, the rise of digital media and the rise of cameras in everybody's pocket. But these changes are happening way too slowly. You know, we talk about how this digital revolution has happened. Well, it's only happened for some people. There's still 60% of the Indian population that doesn't have internet, and so effectively is excluded from this whole kind of YouTube revolution. You know, we have to accelerate the pace at which marginalized communities are connected. When we start any of our projects in Video Volunteers, we do a lot of surveying in the communities to understand what they feel about the mainstream media. They need to know, what can we do about it? What compensation do I get? What rights do I have around this? And how are we going to stop this as a community? This is the kind of information that people want, and this is what Video Volunteers is providing.
It's also equally important that political approach that we talk about, we thought that all of that comes together.
And the idea of a community video unit was like it was a hyper-local news business for that area, but focused on social issues. So we would train people from the community as community producers, and we would place a trainer with them for 12 months, a professional filmmaker or a young recent film school graduate. And these correspondents would produce a monthly video news magazine of around 30 minutes on a different social issue.
My name is Sulochna Pednekar and I have done my post-graduation. Right now I am enrolled for my PhD in Women's Studies. After that I used to work with an NGO, during which time I used to go for field work to conduct surveys with people. So during that time I realized that a lot of issues are not being tackled with the government. I have joined Video Volunteers in March 2011. So it was actually a major change in my career path. Then I happened to know about Video Volunteers looking for a community correspondent in North Goa. So I wrote to them and I told them like I'm interested in doing something. So then they looked at my profile and they said like, okay, what are you doing? What is your network with the community? And accordingly then they taken me for the training. And after the training then I was like whether I'll be able to do my shooting. There was major part where like we have to tell the story by facing the camera. It was not that only we have to shoot, but it was like we also have to tell, give the piece to camera. So that was major, like how I'm going to do it, whether I'll be able to. So I used to not like that part initially, but now I know that that is the major part which communicates to the greater audience to get the attention to those issues. This is Sulochna Pednekar reporting from Mapsa, Goa for India Unearthed.
I love Sulochna. I think she exemplifies so much of what makes for a great community correspondent. She's highlighting the problem, but she's also explaining what the solution is, and then she's working for that solution.
Like any story has, means any issue is happening in the village or a community, people want that issue to be covered, so they have been asking mainstream media to come and cover that issue. When we explain to them that this is the community media, this is where you have to tell your story on your camera, so they come up with a story, what is the problem in the community. And then we take that footage and then we arrange it like interview, B-rolls, and then we submit it in the Video Volunteers office.
When I was 25 years old, the program that I was with, the American India Foundation, was associated with Ashoka. It was in fact Ashoka that turned me on to the whole idea of becoming a change maker myself, in large part.
Jessica's problem was that she was looking at an interesting area where you had to create content from people who are not heard. You have many of these video volunteers in the field. Now, how do you connect them to the central repository? What we did in video volunteers is that we devised a mechanism where even videos which could not be streamed online could be done offline. So we basically looked at that entire workflow and then started giving her suggestions on areas where she could use technology.